there, everybody. Thanks for joining me for another one-man review. Today I'll be taking a look at the new series Origin by the artist Boichi. I've seen a lot of stuff from Boichi on the internet, just had students show me his work, books they like. Really like his art style. And now that there's a manga being serialized in English that hasn't been going for a long time, that I can actually jump in from the beginning, I wanted to give Boichi a try rather than going and getting Dr. Stone or something like that that already has a lot of volumes out. I'll probably get those things eventually. But this definitely, like, it has everything in the art that I like when I've seen Boichi's work. Like, you can see here just the drawing and the use of tone and hatching and stuff. The characters all really cool looking. I also like where he's willing to exaggerate the characters to be silly, almost having like chibi eyes on top of the more realistic rendering here. So there's a lot going on in the art that I really like. But after reading the story, I'm not sure I'm going to go out of my way to buy more volumes of this. Again, just really beautiful art here with the snow coming down, and then like the sexy girl here, and then this awesome face. So like all of the art's really cool, but then the story and the dialogue is pretty much, this is like for teenage boys type of book. It's a really well done for teenage boys type of book. But that's why I'm saying, like, I wouldn't be going out of my way to buy more of this. Like, if I had spare money to blow and I would get some stuff that has some nice art, this would be on my list still. But just going through and showing you what it is, like, this is a world where there are these humanoid android robot things that can pass, and they're going in society without being known. This character here, Origin, it was like the prototype for them, and he's been tasked by his father, his creator, to keep his siblings in line, basically, is what I took away from it. There's this really cool visual conceit where he carries around just the hilt of a sword in his jacket, almost like a gun, and it's like he can get past a weapons check because it's like, this is all I've got, okay, but then he'll get the sword out of his wrist. There's a point here where they feel like they need to explain it, and this is the type of dumb dialogue and just kind of generally bad storytelling that happens in the book. You used electrical signals to bend your blade and hide it in your arm. Come to think of it, you did keep your left arm pretty straight this whole time, which is not true. Like, the first time you see this character, the big opening shot of the character is he's sitting there with both of his arms bent. There's some mechanisms in the dialogue later that say, oh, he can bend it like this much, but not that much. So this weird kind of just shitty Deus Ex Machina justifications of things. But then, you get the art like this, which is super cool. He's like blocking all of these bullets. And this chick, is this slutty chick in the nightgown here, is obviously also a robot, and they have their fight scene. Here you can see the main character taking his face off. He can switch, so he'll swap, like he's got this face and he's gonna swap out and become this character now. Just cool designs all the way throughout, cool art. Chick's got her head chopped off, so all that's fine and well done. Then you get introduced to like the leader of these other robots, and there's this kind of sloppy reveal where they're showing you a little bit. He's got something sticking out of his head, but not really. And then you come to the back and you see he's just a head hooked up controlling these other robots. So go find that bastard and destroy him. The most interesting part of the book to me, and the one thing that would kind of make me want to keep buying future volumes, I guess just wherever I'm at financially might determine that. But the most interesting part of this is that the character Origin, the main character, is deciding to go get a real world job, but he doesn't know how to interact in the world because he's a robot. And there's a comedic aspect to that that's way more compelling to me when they go into these sequences where the character's at work, and you meet here like his three coworkers, and he's going to work at a place called AEE Robotics. So he's a robot going in, and what he wants to do is basically like steal the supplies that they have in there so he can keep himself going, keep his energy going. And he's like kind of being a spy in there, but he's surrounded himself by robotics experts. So there's a lot of really funny scenes where like this robotic expert is coming in and starting to maybe suss out based on his behaviors that he's a robot. There's this weird thing in here where it's almost like talking about autism or something like that as well, like not knowing, this is something I experience a lot, like what's the right thing to do in this social situation. And so he's sitting there like, she's leaning towards me, taking a deep breath, getting ready to say something to me. Hey, how does it taste? How should I know? I'm just pretending to eat. So all of those interactions are really clever and fun, and I think to me that's really, really compelling. But then when you get back to the action stuff, it's just kind of goofy, dumb stuff. He had some really cool tricks with the art, like the fact that this is all drawn in nice, crisp black and white line art, and then fades back, and you kind of getting a sense of what he's paying attention to, and just the interior monologue that's going on. Like, if I've got to hold her hand, I better warm my skin up a little bit so she doesn't know I'm a robot. Just that's all really interesting to me. What's not as interesting is when you get back to these fight scenes and you've got this robot who like wraps her face in her own hair to make a ninja mask because of like nano hair or something, and blades coming out of her arm. These kinds of things are silly. You can see here he gets his arm chopped off, and cool fight scenes all the way throughout. The artist is always looking for an excuse to get a camel toe shot going in there. He's always fighting these, sexy robot ladies in tight clothes or skirts, things like that. But you do get these other big buff characters in these really fun action sequences like this. He realizes he can kind of fly a little bit depending on how he puts his energy in his body. So, cool, fun, looks really nice. Action stuff is really well rendered action stuff. Nice, using photographs and getting super detailed buildings. All the typical tricks of like a really, really nice action manga. But, that's all it is, except for the fact that you have these long comedy sequences where the character's at work. That's the one thing that I think really sells this as being a little bit different or a little bit more compelling to me. But in the end, I'm not sure, depending on what my budget is when further volumes of this coming out, I'm not sure this is something that I feel like any real compulsion to make sure I have a complete set of. It's something I enjoyed, something I would like to see how this dynamic plays out a little bit more, but not at the top of my list of things I absolutely need. Centralia is an awesome, gorgeous comic by rising Dutch star Neil Vanderpeet. This is his first work. It's a really great sci-fi story. There's a world in the future where the sun has gotten so hot that people can't be on the ground. So they have to run around. There's a lot of conceits that go with that. What is the world that looks like? And I think you can see by the art that Sean's description of this book as like a Moebius for young adults, a YA Moebius, is a really great description of this really gorgeous and like wild, wacky, fun book.
Make sure to like, smash that subscribe button, and ring that bell.